I'm Jim Dodson, the Florida Bike Guy. So why should you buy stacked uninsured motorist coverage if you only have one vehicle on your policy? I'm a bicycle injury lawyer representing cyclists throughout Florida. Our office is in Clearwater, but we help people statewide. So this issue of buying uninsured motorist coverage is a little confusing to people. Insurance is something we don't want to use, but the problem is in Florida, you cannot, in my opinion, ride a bicycle without having uninsured motorist on your auto policy because it protects you from being hit by a driver with no insurance or not enough. The question is, how much uninsured motorist do you buy? I always say no less than $100,000 under any circumstances. I would really recommend 250 or more because it's so easy to have any type of surgery run up huge medical bills. The next question is, should I buy stacked or unstacked? The stacked policy works in a straightforward fashion. If you have two cars on the same policy and you buy stacked it doubles the available uninsured motorist for each person. So a $100,000, $300,000 policy would become a $200,000, $600,000 policy, meaning each individual would be protected up to $200,000, but they would share $600,000 if there were multiple people. No one would receive more than two. The question then of today is, should you buy stacked uninsured motorist if you only have one car in the household? The answer is yes. Why, you might ask? When you stack it broadens the area of application. There's so many situations where you need stacked to get the full benefit of the policy that you have. This comes up most frequently, probably, in the situation where you are an occupant of another person's vehicle, as you're riding with a friend. That person has a policy, there's a crash, and now the question is, they have you have how much of either or both policies are available to you if you get into a crash? You're gonna have the best opportunity to get the most coverage if you have stacked when you're considering what it does with another policy. That's just one example. There are many, many examples. We had a case recently, kind of interesting. Our client had one vehicle in Florida, but the person also had a vehicle out of state, which they owned it. It was insured under the same policy, insured with the same company, but with a separate policy. The interesting thing was that this person had purchased stacked coverage on their Florida auto policy for one vehicle. It was very beneficial that they did, because the state where the second car was located, as many states do, had language that said you cannot stack As a matter of fact, there's specific state statute that in many states it says if you have an uninsured motorist claim, you can't take the policy and combine it with another policy to increase the coverage. So it's basically an anti-stacking statute. So here we have a Florida collision, a Florida policy that is stacked, one car on the policy, but owning another vehicle in another state with the same insurance company on a separate policy with anti-stacking language in the statute there and unstacked and non-stacked coverage there. Well, the result is that Florida has very, very strong language from the Florida Supreme Court in a number of decisions protecting Florida residents and upholding the principle that Florida supports stacking coverage on in every available situation where it's possible. To the extent that the courts have said, if the accident occurs in Florida and it's a Florida insured that has stacked they're going to override another state having anti-stacking language and allow the policies to combine. It's an unusual situation. Every claim really for uninsured motorists can be unusual, but it's a perfect example of why one car stacked coverage affords opportunity to get coverage that you would not have gotten without it. There's if you get have a UM on your auto policy, there's going to be a small upcharge to increase it from what you have, maybe 50. You might have a 5100 or a 100, 200. I would always say pay the upcharge, get 100, 300, stack it if you can. If you can afford it, get 250, 500, stack it if you can. But I would suppose that buying stacked coverage for one vehicle on one policy is much less than buying stacked coverage for two vehicles on one policy. So I don't think that money should be the object. It's just understanding the need to do it. Now, what we're going to do today, Katie is going to run a link for a free auto review. I'd be happy to look at your auto policy, make recommendations for coverage. There's a way to provide that for us. And I'll help answer the question of what you should consider buying. I'm not selling insurance. I only want cyclists to have the kind of coverage they feel comfortable having that will protect them in the event of an unexpected injury. You know, the odds are we're going to go through our lives and never need it. Great. But when you need it, there's nothing else that you can have that will replace it, really. Otherwise, you ride your bike every day relying on these people on the road having enough insurance, and the vast majority of them don't have enough insurance. So I'm Jim Dodson, the Florida Bike Guy. We have a special commitment to helping cyclists. If you've been involved in a bike crash anywhere in Florida, you need my help, call. I'll do the very best I can to help you. You've been involved in a motor vehicle collision and need my help, call. We'll be happy to help you. I hope you understand Take advantage of the free auto insurance review and be safe on the road. I'm Jim Dodson, the Florida Bike Guy. Enjoyed talking to you today. Thank you.